India's hero, Veer Chakra Wing Commander, returned to the skies today when he flew a MiG-21 Bison with the Indian Air Force Chief. Well, today was a momentous day for both of them, and here's the reason why.
Two fighter pilots, two combat heroes, one MiG-21. In the front cockpit, none other than the Indian Air Force Chief himself. And right behind him, the country's newest combat hero, Veer Chakra Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman. Strapping into the newly redeemed jet, the two men tore upwards, ending Abhinandan's banishment from the skies. Six months ago, a man had fallen from the sky. The man had been captured, beaten, and held captive on foreign soil. 48 hours of captivity later, Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman had walked over to India. Happy to be back, happy to be alive. Celebrated a hero. His future of flying fighter jets, however, was still to be assessed, medically and physically. But all doubts were laid to rest on 2nd of September 2019 at the Pathankot airbase of the Indian Air Force. Strapping into a MiG-21 trainer, the Air Chief and his Wing Commander undertook a combat sortie that lasted around 30 minutes. The flight reached supersonic speed over Pathankot airspace. A few barrel rolls and tight turns. Maneuvers that come easy to the nimble MiG-21. And with two of the best pilots of the IAF in command, there was nothing to worry about. The Indian Air Force Chief is himself a MiG-21 pilot and in 1999 had seen action during the Kargil War. But this day was momentous because the Air Chief was flying his last sortie while Abhinandan was flying the first of his return.
It was also a pleasure for me to fly with Abhinandan because he's got his flying category back. That is what all pilots look forward to. I also ejected in '88. It took me 9 months to get my category back. He's been back in less than 6 months, so that's very good for him. And he's a trainer captain, and he's got all his qualifications back.
Abhinandan is now ready to resume his role as a fighter pilot. This Wing Commander of the Indian Air Force has also been cleared to train others on the MiG-21 Bison. To achieve getting flying category as well as trainer status back within a mere 6 months shows the mettle of the man who had actually fallen from the skies.
Well, just 6 months ago, when Veer Chakra Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman returned from Pakistan via the Atari-Wagah border, I was there to report it minute by minute along with other colleagues. Our Pakistan correspondent Hamza Amir took great risk and went to the village in POK where Wing Commander Varthaman landed after ejecting from the aircraft. Here's a look back to our reports reporting the pieces and piecing it together what happened when the Indian Air Force pilot landed on enemy territory and how he made his way back home.
As the fog of war built up over the disputed land of Kashmir, the skies over the line of control blurred to sustain contradictory claims. If on Tuesday, the 26th of February, Indian planes went over to raid the other side in the hours before dawn, Wednesday, the 27th, dawned, claiming it had sent its own planes on bombing runs to the Indian side to establish parity. India scrambled its fighters to shoo the intruders away. And 48 years after the war of 1971, an Indian and a Pakistani fighter aircraft once again locked gun sights on each other. Each side claimed to have shot the other down. What became apparent was that there had taken place a dogfight somewhere above the region where the LOC partitioned Kashmir between India and Pakistan. And only one thing any and everyone agreed upon, it was that a man had fallen from the sky.
It was on Wednesday morning, possibly around 11 a.m., that my sources started telling me that Pakistan had an Indian pilot in custody. No one was sure if it was true or not, because the past 48 hours had been full of rhetoric from both sides of the border. But then it turned out to be not only true, but then there was a fascinating story on how he fell from the sky and how the Pakistan army saved him from being lynched.
The destination was Horan village, situated 3 kilometers from the line of control. That's on a two-dimensional map. And the Google map quoted roughly 185 kilometers as the distance to travel from Islamabad. But in reality, the landscape included crossing at least 5 mountain ridges, and that took nearly 6 hours before Horan revealed itself between tall coniferous trees. Situated in a valley, Horan is a sleepy village that about 1,000 people call home.
Wing Commander Abhinandan had a dogfight mid-air, and then his plane was shot, and he landed about 300 meters from the place where the plane had actually landed. जब ऊपर पाकिस्तानी जहाज और इंडिया के जहाज की लड़ाई आपस में चल रही थी, तो और जब ये जहाज को हिट हुआ उस वक्त भी आपने देखा, आप देख सकते थे कि ऊपर से इसका जहाज हिट हो चुका है. क्या डायरेक्शन थी उसकी? लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल इस तरफ है, तो वहाँ से क्या डायरेक्शन इस तरफ थी जहाज़ की, इंडिया के जहाज़ की, या वापस जाते हुए ऐसा हुआ है?
जब मैंने देखा उसे फायर लगाना तो उसको आग लगी हुई थी, उसकी डायरेक्शन लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल की तरफ थी.
A tree-covered hill, grey in the March sunlight, stands as a natural border between Horan in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and Nowshera in India. It is on the Pak side that the MiG-21 Bison crashed into, on this hill facing Horan.
I have this piece with me, and as I stand on ground zero where this impact happened, where this plane crashed, the Indian airplane. There are wreckages still over here. Army has taken most of the major wreckage with them, but as you can see on ground over here, when the plane landed, the impact would have been a lot bigger, because the tree over here, it fell off. You can see that when the plane had an impact here, the tree fell off. Then this tree got burnt because of the fire. Plane landed, it was an explosion. You can see the wreckage still here. Other than this, we can see these are wires. These are some chips that were part of the plane. This seems to be a very strong part of the plane, because even after catching fire, the plane still cut into pieces. If you see over here, this is also another very big chunk of the wreckage. This seems like another important piece of the Indian plane that Wing Commander Abhinandan was flying. So this basically is the place where the plane, after getting hit by the Pakistani plane, caught fire. It crashed. It crashed here. Abhinandan landed after ejecting himself about 300 meters from here, where he was captured by the locals and then by the army. So after ejecting from his plane, Wing Commander Abhinandan landed at this very spot. That is where he landed his foot, And when the people came, he had a question answer session with them.
जब वो वहाँ से पैराशूट के ज़रिए नीचे आ रहा था तो हमने उसको देखा और हम यहाँ पे आ गए जिस जगह पे उसने लैंड किया है. उसके बाद हम उसके करीब आना चाहते थे पर उसके पास हथियार थे कुछ रिवाल्वर हो गया वगैरह वगैरह कोई एक दो और चीज़ें थी और हम उसको कह रहे थे कि हम आपको वो पानी मांग रहे थे हमसे और मोबाइल फ़ोन हमसे मांग रहे थे कि मैंने बात करनी है. हमने कहा तुम अपने हथियार दूर फेंको हम आपको पानी भी देंगे फ़ोन भी देंगे. वो कह रहे थे कि मेरी कमर टूट चुकी है. हमने कहा आपको हम हॉस्पिटल भी लेके जाएंगे और उन्होंने जब फिर उन्होंने हमसे पूछा कि ये इंडिया है या पाकिस्तान है. हमने कहा ये इंडिया है. पहले पूछा प्रधानमंत्री कौन है तो फिर उससे तो हम कंफर्म हो गया. हमने कहा मोदी है. उसके बाद जब फिर उसने नारा लगाया तो हमारे लोगों को उसका जवाब नहीं आया. इस वजह से उसे पता चल गया.
This is the water stream that is a short distance away from that mountain, from where Wing Commander Abhinandan landed, and then he ran. People went after him. They were hitting him with stones and he was firing bullets to keep them away. And he managed to come from there till here. This is the water where he was stopped. He ate a few pieces of paper which were very sensitive, and he threw them in this water so that they can flow away.
वो कागज़ वो तो हमको नहीं पता है किस चीज़ के थे पर जब उसे पता चला कि ये पाकिस्तान है तो उसने 3-4 कागज़ मुंह में डाले और उनको चबाकर फेंक दिया थूक दिया. जब नाले में गया तो हमारे लोग वहाँ उसके आगे पीछे हो गए और उसको घेर कर पकड़ लिया और थोड़ी बहुत पिटाई भी की. साथ ही में आर्मी आ गई और उन्होंने पकड़ लिया.
As the locals say, he kept firing bullets back and forth to disperse the people who were after him. They were after him with stones. They did not have guns. So they were hitting him with stones. But one person, namely Tayyab, who's not in contact right now, but he was the one who actually brought a rifle and shot right next to his leg. Not on his leg, but right next to his leg. That's when the army also had come and he had to throw his weapon away. I'm standing right now in Horan village, which is in Pakistan administered Kashmir, about 3 kilometers away from the line of control. Has been troubled in the past, but now it seems a little bit cooled down as the tensions continue to a little filter down on the line of control. Behind me, that side, that village, is where on the mountain top of it is where the plane that got shot mid-air by the Pakistani jet fell, and about 200 meters from there was where Wing Commander Abhinandan also landed, got captured, got assaulted, hit by the locals here.
Till 27th of February 2019, this was a village that no one knew about. People here went about their agrarian lives and the world did not notice. But then a man fell from the sky and changed Horan forever. Today, the village of Horan has become a bullet point fixture on the troubled timeline of Indo-Pak animosity.
After it was established and agreed by both sides that Wing Commander Abhinandan was who he was, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, in what must have come as a surprise to many here, announced in the Assembly that the Indian pilot would be released the next day. And that is what Pakistan did. 2 days after falling from the sky, the Indian pilot walked back home across the Wagha-Attari border.
When it was confirmed that Wing Commander Abhinandan was going to come through the Wagha border, we at India Today had to rush to the Wagha border. But what a wait it had been. As the hours dragged by, the suspense, the anxiety levels began to rise.
The surprise announcement came amid an atmosphere of anxiety in both the countries.
Big breaking news on India today. Indian Air Force pilot will be released tomorrow. This is the latest that we are getting in. So it changes the whole dynamics of the situation. The country, India.
At first, there was no clarity as to how the Indian Air Force pilot was to return home.
As far as the Indian Air Force is concerned, we are happy that our pilot, who had fallen across the line of control and was in the custody of Pakistan, is being released. We are extremely happy to have him back. We want to see him back. Once he reaches back, once he's handed over to us, we will then further make any more comments.
But the announcement seemed to ease the tension a bit. And what followed were arrangements for a safe return and heroic welcome of a pilot who had parachuted out over enemy territory. On the morning of 1st of March 2019, hundreds of Indian nationals started gathering at the Attari-Wagah border, waving the national flag and holding garlands that they hoped to drape around Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman's neck.
Just to witness release of Wing Commander Abhinandan. It was just that something came into my heart that I need to go. So obviously I came.
To be here.
Yes, it was something special that it was there in my mind. So I came.
It is not every day that you witness what you say. The people of a country coming together for one cause, putting aside all differences. This is the best thing.
आप देख रहे हैं कितना जोश, कितना सारा अमृतसर स्वागत के लिए तैयार है.
आज हमारा जज्बा ये आपको हमारे चेहरों से नजर आता होगा.
There was palpable excitement in the air. Television crews stationed there relayed minute-by-minute updates, all waiting with bated breath for the hero's homecoming.
Or the entire country's eyes will be glued to the Attari-Wagah border to welcome its hero, Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman. And you can see the locals here, the Punjabis, have also turned up with the tricolour, to welcome this war hero.
It was a moment that the entire nation had been waiting for. But hours passed and there was still no sign of Abhinandan.
So we started off with the light in the morning when there was no light, and now we put on the light again because we are waiting. And I remember Anand and I, and this is just on the lighter note, he and I were having a conversation in the morning, and I said 10:30 he'll be out. So Anand says yes, 10:30 he'll be out, but I don't think so.
Dawn to dusk, the excitement just kept building up, as did the tension to what was taking so long. There's been multiple confusing signals, and I just put everything on record. Just about 20 minutes ago, we were told that he's been taken back from Wagah and he's been taken to the Batapur barracks in Pakistan, and not because of any other reason, because some documentation wasn't complete. Like I said, there are a lot of slips between the cup and the lip where Pakistan and India engagement is concerned. That was the reason we were given. What I can confirm, Shiv, right now, and we've asked from multiple sources on ground, that he still is on Pakistan soil. He is not on Indian soil. After hours of documentation between border officials of the two countries, it was a little after 9 p.m. that Wing Commander Abhinandan finally crossed the Pakistan-India border on foot. On the Indian side of the border, there were no photo ops, no celebrations. The Air Force pilot was whisked away by security forces, evading the eyes of the public and the assembled media. Wing Commander Abhinandan was whisked away, while the Indian Air Force, our politicians, gave us official and not so official reactions. He was recuperating, taken to the national capital, Delhi, at the RR hospital, multiple medical checkups being conducted on him. It's not very often that a pilot has to eject from a fighter jet and actually fall from the skies on enemy territory. When Wing Commander Abhinandan stepped foot, he had returned home and his ordeal was finally over. But his capture refreshed memories of those others who too had fallen from the sky and landed in Pakistan's custody. Air warriors of the Indian Air Force who were previously held captive by Pakistan. During the 1965 Indo-Pak War, K.C. Karyappa was a flight lieutenant with number 20 Squadron. His Hawker Hunter aircraft was shot down while attacking a military target. He spent at least 6 months in Pakistan as a POW, prisoner of war. K.C. was the son of General K.M. Karyappa, the first chief of the Indian Army, who went on to become a Field Marshal of India. Flight Lieutenant Karyappa was released on the orders of then President of Pakistan, Field Marshal Ayub Khan, who was a former colleague of General Karyappa before the partition of 1947. K.C. Karyappa later retired as an Air Marshal. During the War of 1971, 12 Indian Air Force pilots were captured by Pakistan as POWs after their fighter planes were shot down. Out of the 12 pilots who were held in Rawalpindi prison, 3 pilots plotted to escape. Flight Lieutenant Dilip Parulkar, Flight Lieutenant M.S. Grewal and Flight Lieutenant Harish Singhji. They managed to escape but were caught again in Jamrud and were taken to Peshawar. The trio was safely repatriated in December 1972. During the 1999 Kargil flare-up, Kambapati Nachiketa was a flight lieutenant serving in the number 9 Squadron. On May 27, 1999, while carrying out airstrikes at military targets in the Batalik sector, the engine of Nachiketa's MiG-27 failed. Left with no option, he ejected from the fighter jet and landed on the Pakistani side. 8 days later, on June 3, 1999, he was released. Upon his return, he recalled the severe mental and physical torture that he had gone through during captivity. Not every story, however, ended with the pilots returning home alive. Squadron leader Ajay Ahuja, who was serving the number 17 Squadron, ejected from his MiG-21 after it was shot down, and he too landed on the Pakistani side. Later, when Pakistan handed over his body, post-mortem reports in India revealed that while he had ejected safely, the cause of his death was by gunshot wound. India held that he had been shot dead by the Pakistan Army in breach of Geneva Conventions. Pakistan denied these charges.
Well, this morning, Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman took a combat flying sortie for 30 minutes with none other than the Air Chief Marshal BS Dhanoa. It was the Air Force Chief's last combat sortie on a MiG-21. The Kargil War veteran Air Chief Marshal himself had to once eject from a fighter aircraft in 1988, and it took him 9 months to make a comeback. Wing Commander Abhinandan did it in 6 months. We leave you with these visuals of the two taking this memorable sortie. Keep watching India Today.
For watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.